on Fox Sports Florida is presented by Leon Medical Center, proud sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball in a safe and healthy community. Well, the Marlins now 4-1 after they took the opener of this single admission, even though there is not one single admitted person into the ballpark. But anyway, whatever the case is, Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth back with you here, our socially distant broadcast booth in Marlins Park. Marlins win again. Holly, the pitching has been terrific, specifically in this series.
It's been spectacular. It's been almost unfair. I'm not really getting at the Baltimore Orioles, Paul, but I mean, to expect what we've seen is almost ridiculous. I mean, we talk about going back a year to find back-to-back shutouts of a team. I mean, I'm being as honest as I can. The Orioles were one of the hottest teams in baseball coming in. They had just swept the Rays. The staff has been, I mean, so much credit has got to go Mel Stottlemyre Jr.'s way, Don Mattingly and the staff, and preparing these guys, the guys who are coming out of the bullpen. You know, sometimes maybe you just kind of remove expectation and things get real simple in this game. It's not like they're winning 11-0. These have been tight ball games. I mean, today, first game, 1-0. I mean, every pitch matters, and these guys are making every pitch matter.
That's right. Tight game for sure, a 1-0 game, but also the fact that it's a 7-inning doubleheader. The ninth inning jumps on you a little bit quickly in situations like that. So game two going to be a bullpen game for the Marlins here. Josh A. Smith will get the ball for the Marlins. Again, we're not sure what to expect. One would think an inning or two max. Probably one of the adds, as President of Baseball Operations Michael Hill and his staff had to really overturn this entire roster over the course of this last week. So Smith will start, and then it's probably going to be a number of other pitchers throughout the rest of this ball game in order for the Marlins to hopefully take the first three against Baltimore.
Well, and that's what you're hoping for. I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure in length of start or length of outing right now, especially when you tell everybody all hands on deck going into game number two. You want to win this game. We talked about this an awful lot. Don Mattingly and the staff, I mean, they want to win baseball games. This isn't about, fulfilling the schedule and kind of looking at things in a way where it's just kind of playing the games and developing players. They want to win, and they're winning right now. You want to keep this going. I think that's reflective in the lineup that we see here in game number two. And the bullpen passed the torch. Listen, I'm not giving up any runs. You don't give up any runs. That's what this becomes right now, and that's where it's gone. And so hopefully it continues.
Yeah, and in terms of the offense, there wasn't much of it, but there was just enough, and just enough to get out of the ballpark. The home run for Brian Anderson. I mean, this was right over the wall and right, but hey, it still counts.
Well, we've seen Brian Anderson do this over the last couple of seasons, twice this year. Great swing, Paul. I'm telling you, when he's going the other way and using the whole field, he is a dangerous hitter. I've said this many times. He's an all-star. To me, that's what's going to happen if he maintains this through the course of a full major league season. The defense has been outstanding as well. He had a huge play in game number one that kept Chris Davis off the bases in the seventh inning. I mean, he has just done what's been asked of him. And right now, I mean, Marlins been on the road. It's been a few years for me, Paul, since I've said the Marlins in home runs, they're stacking up right now, and the Marlins are stacking up the home runs.
Yeah, they've already hit 3 in this series. Hey, we talked about it just kind of in passing about the depth that the Marlins have in the outfield. Probably means that Brian Anderson's going to play third base just about every day. So what happens in game two? He gets his first major league start at first base, because why not? That's just kind of how things have gone. We're going to step aside and continue to get you set for the first pitch. The Marlins are the home team in the nightcap in Baltimore. Back after this. Fortunately, that is Marlins Park, and only Todd and I and our wonderful TV crew are here in South Florida. In Baltimore, where the Marlins are the home team, it's beautiful. See how it all works out well? Things are starting to go our way. Look at that, huh? Marlins are on a 3-game win streak, too.
It's a sunny day in Baltimore, and that's all that matters right now. Paul, you and I, we don't care that we're in the rain. We're good.
That's right.
As long as the team's winning, playing good baseball, and that's all happening right now. And guess what? We get a home game.
That's right. Huge crashes of lightning and thunder in between the games.
Are you used to it yet?
It
doesn't take long. People who are from Florida, they start to tell you, you get used to these things. But it was a little scary there for a second here in the stadium.
It was. It was very, very loud as we welcome you back inside our socially distant broadcast booth here at Marlins Park, getting ready. So, again, the Marlins are the home team, but they're going to wear the road gray pants, black uniform tops. The Orioles are going to wear white pants, and they're at their home. Because the Marlins weren't expecting to be on the road for like 3 weeks, right? So they didn't pack. They packed for 6 days. That was it. But here we are. They're wearing the alternate black uniform tops as they get set for the first pitch. Again, Marlins have won 3 in a row. They have yet to allow a run in this series. We'll have the first pitch coming up from Baltimore when we come back. Header, third game of the 4-game series between these two teams. They'll wrap up their 4-game set finally tomorrow, and we'll have that game for you. But in the meantime, Josh A. Smith, originally a 21st round pick of the Reds in 2010 and signed with the Marlins back in December of 2019, will make his start. Now the Marlins also do have a Josh D. Smith. And then, of course, they've got Caleb Smith as well. But we're focused on Josh A. here to start this ball game in what we expect to be a bullpen game for the Marlins. They only have to cover 7, however. It's the second game of this doubleheader. If you saw the first game and have been following baseball this last week, in 2020, 7 innings for the double dips. So we're underway, and the first pitch fouled off. Hanser Alberto is leading things off for the Baltimore Orioles. Again, the Marlins a 1-0 win. Just about an hour or so ago. They have shut out the Orioles in both games of this series thus far. And a ground ball to third. That's Eddie Alvarez across to Brian Anderson, who is able to keep his toe on the bat. He looks like Don Mattingly over there at first base, and this is his first big league start.
A little bit of payback there, right? That's what it's like to save an infielder an error.
Well done at first base. Nice job by Eddie. At third, a little hot shot to his backhand.
And I guess this would be one of those situations where the Marlins, you know, in a normal setting, this might be a situation where a guy like Miguel Rojas might play first base, or Garrett Cooper might play first base. But those guys are both on the injured list right now, so the Marlins have to kind of shake things up a little bit. Another look at the play.
Now to the backhand, Eddie, strong throw. The question is, did Brian Anderson hold the bag at first base as he had to climb just a little bit?
The Orioles are reviewing this. I think on that second effort, Todd, he got that toe back on, but
I think so too. I mean, I still haven't seen anything to change it. I know it's a close play at first base, but after he makes the catch right there, I see, to me, he's got enough on the bag. I know that it ultimately comes back off, but pretty convinced that he's holding the bag. But I'm 0 for 1 today, so don't listen to me.
Yeah, we're both taken aback by a call earlier on a hit by pitch that was reviewed, but the umpires getting together on this one. The first base umpire is Chris Siegel. He's the one on the left, and the crew chief Ron Culpa, who is the second base umpire here in game 2, on the right, taking a look at this and chatting with the umpires who are watching in the replay room back in New York. So yeah, I guess we reiterate that this is the first big league start for Brian Anderson at first base.
Well, and Eddie will tell you as well. Alvarez, the throw from across the diamond, a high one. This is not easy. You know, when you're at first base for the first time, you like those ones that kind of hit you right in the chest, and you're like, oh, okay, that's good. I don't have to move too much. I can stretch out my hamstrings. Of course, Brian Anderson and all 6'3" of his frame needed to secure that throw.
And since the call on the field was out, you would need enough to overturn the call. Looks like they have their answer, and it remains an out number 1. So after all that, there's 1 down on 2 pitches.
More things change.
I know.
The Orioles continue to swing the bats aggressively, and we've talked about that. So, you know, the importance for the bullpen, the starters, for Josh and everybody else that comes in after him in this 7-inning affair, is that you continue to pound the strike zone, but not just get me over strikes, those corner strikes right out of the gate, right there. That's what you want. I know that that's a little off the edge by definition, but that's kind of what you're looking for, because again, if the Orioles are going to continue to swing the bats as aggressively as they have early in the count, you've got to make good pitches, or you're going to find out how good they have been swinging the bat.
That pitch low and in to Anthony Santander. Was 0 for 3 earlier today. That's how the Marlins set up their defense against the switch hitting right fielder.
Coming into this game in the series, 16 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 18 Ks.
Whew. The pitching has been there, and that is not with the quote-unquote aces of the staff.
Right. I know the fun part is to circle the 0 runs and say, okay, they just have been dominant. But to me, and knowing the conversation and the storyline, with all the new faces, 3 walks. Just 3 walks in 16 innings. Because the first thing that usually happens when you get some new faces and we start talking first impressions is that you tend to try a little too hard. But we haven't seen that. Guys have been confident and comfortable and just gone out there and made pitches.
Still a ball and 2 strikes on Santander.
Now Josh Smith, 4-seam fastball. He'll sink it every now and again. Curve, cutter. Doesn't throw terribly hard. 90-92.
Born in Margate, Florida, and attended Grandview Prep in Boca Raton. And we'll bring home a 1-2 pitch. A little bit of movement on that one, that's for sure.
I think you would call that his curveball. It kind of acts like a slurve, right? I mean, we're watching it. It does have certainly a lot of movement at home. We'll give you another look. Santander way down to his knee just to get to that, and waking up the dugout.
Smith has started games before. He broke in with the Reds in 2015, pitched in 9 games, started 7 of them. Started a couple of games in 2016 as well. Smith spent last year with the Boston Red Sox. 18 games overall, a couple of starts, which is 31 innings total. A 3-2 coming, and he gets him to chase the pitch outside. He gets his first strikeout, and there are 2 away in the first.
Yeah, a little extra on the outside edge. You know, you wonder if that goes back to the first pitch of this at bat, which was very similar, maybe a little bit lower in the zone, but running off the outside corner, called for a strike. Santander didn't like it, but felt he needed to try to defend against it on the 3-2 pitch, and expanded it just a little bit. Start tricking hitters if that strike zone starts to expand.
Now Jose Iglesias back at the DH spot here in the nightcap. Mentioned earlier, dealing with a bit of a quad issue the last week or so. The 0-1 is able to hold up to even things up. And Iglesias hit by pitch, 0 for 2 in the first game this afternoon.
It's debatable.
Was our other review from earlier.
Well, if you're just tuning into game number 2, he's first at bat. We were talking about him because he's been one of the Orioles' hotter hitters. He came in with batting average well above 500. We were talking about his exploits and the good start that he's had, that he's missed a little bit of time, and then proceeded to foul off a ball by our judgment, which was hit the bat first, and then it actually hit him in the shoulder, but was awarded first base on a hit by pitch. So you and me, we were wrong, apparently.
Popped up behind second. Birdie racing in will make the play, and a clean first for Josh A. Smith. Where the O's are the road team in the nightcap of this doubleheader. Let's take a look at the Marlins lineup that will face Asher Wojciechowski. VR leading things off. He's at short. Birdie at second. Corey Dickerson in left. Jesus Aguilar goes from first to the DH. Brian Anderson, we've already seen him over at first base. Matt Joyce in right. Ryan Lavarnway behind the plate. Eddie Alvarez at third. And Magneuris Sierra is patrolling center field. So for Wojciechowski, making his second start of 2020. Career high 16 starts last year. Lost to the Yankees on July 29th. And a guy with a boatload of luggage tags. I will explain. Here is the pitch to Jonathan VR that misses outside. So despite only pitching in less than 50 major league games, the guy's played for a bunch of organizations. Blue Jays, Astros, Marlins, Diamondbacks, Reds, O's, White Sox, Indians, and back to the Orioles. Journeyman.
It's funny you should say that. You see my notes. You know me and paper and notes right there. It's the biggest word I wrote up there, right above his name, journeyman. You're absolutely right. And he continues to hang around, and part of that is because when he got the opportunity last year, he was pitching well in AAA, Cleveland, and comes over to Baltimore and hangs in there. I mean, they were looking for innings and they were looking for somebody to give them starts. It's not 3 ERA type of baseball. It's generally 4.5, maybe even a little higher. But for the most part, he competes as the leadoff walk. His former teammate Jonathan Villar to start the offense for the Marlins. .492 ERA in 16 starts, 17 games last season. Home run, long ball was an issue. 82 innings of work, gave up 17 home runs.
Here is John Birdie. Rips this one to left field. Gonna get down for a base hit. Birdie can fly, so can Villar. He is being held at third base. It's a double for John Birdie, and the Marlins offense off to a quick start.
Yeah, you like to see it. Birdie not wasting any time after the walk to Villar. Birdie jumping on what he sees first. It's a fastball. It splits the plate, and it gets ripped into left. Good swing. I'll continue to harp on this. We've talked about who's going to fill in for Miguel Rojas. This has been my answer all along, Paul. He's going to get the bulk of the playing time. It may not be directly at shortstop, but it's going to be at second base, and he brings a speed dynamic and he brings experience to the lineup. He answered the call last year, and he's answering it again this year. Love it.
2 aboard now, and the 3-4 hitters of the Marlins coming up. Dickerson followed by Aguilar. And after just being able to eke across 1 run in the first game of the doubleheader, we'll see if the Marlins can maybe put up a crooked number here early on with 2 on and nobody out.
All right, let's go ahead and get you the AutoNation scouting report. The arsenal for Wojciechowski right off the top. 4-seam fastball, slider, cutter, change. His best pitch, his slider, no doubt about it. Now, he is a fly ball pitcher. Just 31% of the time does he get the ball on the ground. That ground ball rate, that was second lowest in Major League Baseball. He only got 1 ground ball double play last year. Top 3. You ready for this one, Paul? Well, the number 1, 2, and 3 hitters in the lineup last season hit .336 against him, while 4 through 9, 194.
Do the damage right now is what you're saying.
Well, we're at the 3 spot here, and we've got 2 guys on. I just thought it was interesting that 2 guys in. We had runners on second and third, and Dickerson coming to the plate.
Those green lines there on your screen would signify, through the help of StatCast, of course, the best place for the outfielders to get a player at home plate should there be a sac fly situation based on the strength of their arms. Nothing in 2 to Corey Dickerson. And he went around, so he is retired.
All right, let's get you the Orioles defensively here in game number 2. Stewart getting the start in left, Mullins in center, Santander in right, Velasquez, Alberto Nunez, Severino catching once again.
Could have been the hero, or at least a big role. But
that's right.
Marlins caught a break. And now it is Jesus Aguilar at the plate. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it back. Big cut at 92, 0-1.
Yeah, Wojciechowski, I mentioned the arsenal. 4-seam fastball, 92-94. Hitters hit .247 against it last year. Slugging percentage is
a little bit below 500. Guys had some pretty good swings at him, but that slider is definitely his go-to pitch when he needs it, particularly against the righties, right around that 81, 82 mile an hour range. Can add and subtract with it as well.
In the air to deep right field, should be deep enough to score a run. Santander makes the play. VR will score. Also moving up to third is John Birdie, and the Marlins have a 1-0 lead. And the road home fake crowd into it. Marlins on the board first.
We travel well.
That's right.
Yeah, we travel well.
Get that, even some Marlins themed graphics and animations. See, I knew it. They did this in Washington, D.C. for the Blue Jays last week in similar situations. Nice. So from us to you, thank you. Making the Marlins feel at home.
I agree. I mean, these poor guys, they've been on the road like, wow. You said 2 weeks. I almost lost it in game number 1. You're like, yeah, you know, the Marlins will be home in a couple weeks. And I was like,
yeah,
don't tell anybody. I mean, tell fans, but don't tell their families.
Fortunately, we live in a day and age where FaceTime and video calls are very possible.
Right.
And much relied upon as well.
And I think that's been lost in some of our conversation as well. I mean, I'm excited that the Marlins are playing great baseball. But in all sincerity, I could not go this long without my family or my wife. I mean, the way that they're going about it, I would be really torn, you know, just the way everything's kind of gone. Quarantined and isolated, throwing balls against mattresses, and then going out and winning baseball games.
Yeah, it's been a trying week. There is no question about that. Anderson, who homered in the first game, gets the base hit that squirts through the right side, brings home Birdie, and it's a 2-0 Marlins lead.
You know, we talk so much about BA going the other way. It's so much fun to, when you see this. I mean, you see the frustration on the Orioles' part. I mean, it's just situational hitting and understanding. Listen, that's where the hole is. And when you can go there comfortably, listen, he didn't force that. That was a fluid swing. Everything about the approach said, I'm going the other way. And it wasn't even hit that hard. And that's an RBI 2-out single that drives in a run. I mean, you're loving it. Great approach.
A strike to Matt Joyce.
I gotta be honest. I mean, you almost feel like saying shame on the Orioles. Like, what are you doing? You saw the homer in game 1, didn't you? I mean, did you really think he won't go that way?
Yeah, again, that's the thing with it's probably too convoluted to get into with 2 outs, but with these scouting reports and the shifts and whatnot, as Joyce flies one out to deep left, you just go with the percentages. Marlins get 2 in the first.
Yeah, welcome back. Marlins up 2-0 after 1 here in game 2. Take your fandom to the next level, Marlins fans. Access virtual group events, game ball rewards, pick a player, and more. For more information, visit marlins.com/fandom.
Now those, if you saw it in our first game, those are actually the cutout faces of the Marlins who are currently on the injured list. Socially distanced and here or there, I guess, in spirit, which is great. And again, this week has been a trying one for the organization, for everyone in it and around it. And we'll talk to a guy who's been extremely busy throughout this last week. President of Baseball Operations Michael Hill will join us in the 3rd inning. But again, only time will tell how this whole week and season plays out. But a situation like this where you care about your teammates, they become your family in situations like this. And when they're not healthy and when they're not with you, you have to do those sorts of things to keep that level of togetherness when a family member or something like that is going through something.
Well, one thing you can control is how you compete. And I think that Michael Hill is going to tell us, I'm going to put words in his mouth because I'm going to let him say it himself, but I'm going to give you a sneak preview. Because I feel it myself, even here in Miami. When you know what they went through and you watch and you see what a group goes through collectively, and guys start picking each other up. Remember, the ultimate goal is to win baseball games. And whether we're using names like Miguel Rojas
or we're using names like Jose Urena or Pablo Lopez or Josh Smith, the Marlins are winning baseball games, and these guys are picking each other up. And that's what starts to excite you, because it does give you that sense of togetherness. We're pulling in the same direction. The organizational philosophy is running through the veins, if you know what I mean. And we're all doing things to help each other win.
So popped up behind home plate, going to get out of play. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes to Renato Nunez. T-Mobile is your ticket to the game with America's largest 5G network. Yeah, again, under normal circumstances this year, the Marlins, with the schedule that was in front of them, the teams that they were going to face, they're going to have to do all the little things right. And now it's that same mindset, but also do your job, whatever that job is or has now become, and help the entire club.
Well, I think the bottom of the first inning was a pretty good example of that, right? So Corey, who we've praised for having great at bats, doesn't necessarily have his best at bat with runners on second and third in a run scoring situation. You say to yourself, okay, that's a huge missed opportunity. What's going to happen? Aguilar stays inside a ball, drives one to the wall, drives in a run, and then BA comes up with 2 outs and picks up the next guy. That is teammates picking each other up. That's not saying, okay, Corey, you come through right here or we don't score this inning. That's like saying, okay, I'm going to alleviate some of that pressure. You get him, but if it doesn't work out, I'll get him.
Right back up the middle. That's going to get through for a base hit. Nunez is aboard to start the second. Time for our Toyota trend. I promise I don't make the graphics. I don't. But some famous Severinos. Extraordinaire. Wow, that's good. I can't even spell extraordinaire, but somehow I made the list. That's good. Somebody's getting $5. Pedro, of course, the Orioles catcher. Isabel, the great French gymnast, and Emmanuel, the Italian philosopher. I am also an Italian philosopher. Not as flexible as Isabel.
That's
however,
not true at
gymnast.
all.
No, I'm
That's
not.
not true. Although I think that your family reunions are a lot of fun.
They certainly are. Not pictured on the was Luis Severino of the New York Yankees as well, recovering from Tommy John. I believe at this point. Yeah.
So you got a couple in baseball, some in gymnastics.
No relation, however, to Paul Sorvino, the actor. But that is a name that I often get on the telemarketer calls.
His loss.
Yeah, it is. He's riding my coattails throughout his entire career.
Yeah, at least your family names anyway.
All right, speaking of last names, the Marlins have a Caleb and they have another Josh, but this is Josh A. Smith. So he was picked up from the alternate site. He's had a 4-year big league career to this point. Mentioned that he is a South Florida guy. And again, just another one of those Marlins that's going to be asked to maybe pick up a little bit of the slack. And another note is that, of course, because it's not confusing enough, he and Josh D. Smith, they were actually teammates in Pawtucket in 2018. So they travel well together, too.
Not only do you have to say the last name, first name, middle initial,
right,
to get up in the bullpen.
Right. Just in case, I also have the last 4 of his social. Right.
That's right.
No, I don't. I promise I don't.
You know, for Josh, this is a great opportunity, and again, it's in some ways, you know, we use the word like you're showcasing. You know, you're playing for the Marlins right now. They're providing you the opportunity, but remember this. And this is a lesson you learn, young men, when you get to the big leagues, that everybody's looking all the time. So you may be in the Marlins uniform now, and when that roster crunch happens, however it goes, if you've impressed and you've done your job, other people are watching too. That's what you want to get to.
And that aforementioned roster crunch, it's at 30 now. It will go to 28, which it was supposed to do after the first 2 weeks of the season anyway, at noon tomorrow. And to break down all the roster questions, we'll talk with the president of baseball operations, Michael Hill, coming up in the 3rd inning. Now a word from the Florida Lottery.
Monopoly season is back with Monopoly bonus spectacular scratch-off games from the Florida Lottery.
So a hit for Nunez, a fly ball off the bat of Severino, and the walk to DJ Stewart. 2 on, 1 out, and Pat Baleka getting the start. Steps to the plate with 1 away. The Marlins were lucky enough to get a big double play ball. It ended the 5th inning of the ball game this afternoon. They could probably use one right here.
Well, the lake at good speed. They're going to have to be quick to get it on the ground.
Baleka entered as a pinch runner. Entered at third. That would have been the tying run. But it was that double play that got the Marlins out of the jam in that frame. Into left. Dickerson coming in, makes the play, now throws to second. Hustling back Nunez, 2 down.
Well, once again, Dickerson's got a gold glove on his resume. Good instincts in left field. Good read of the bat. Read of the ball off the bat. I broke it down a little bit in game number 1 with the shadows, how hard that can be, but a great read right here. Caught it off the end, so this ball was not hit hard. He was breaking in all the way. And Nunez, I don't want to say almost doubled up, but I think he was wandering. He was expecting that ball to get down. Nice job by Dickerson. Big out. Big out.
Now it's Andrew Velasquez, the switch hitting shortstop for the O's. May have broken his bat on that foul ball down the first base line. 0-1. Velasquez got 1 AB this afternoon, a strikeout. And 0 for 3 thus far in the series. "15 games last year with the Rays and Indians for Velasquez. A couple of hits. They were both doubles. A little more playing time this last week with Iglesias dealing with a bit of a cranky quad. Popped up. Dickerson moving in, and Smith strands 2. Well, Josh Smith wiggles into and out of trouble, gets through the second inning, stranding a couple, and the Marlins protect their 2-0 lead as we go to the home half of the second inning. Be the bottom third of the Marlins order. Ryan Lavarnway, Eddie Alvarez, and Magneuris Sierra. Lavarnway, part of the overhauled roster that Michael Hill has had to put together. Swings at the first pitch. In the air out to center field. That's Cedric Mullins to make the play. And we check in with Kelly Sacco.
Loved Orioles superfan Mo Gabbett died at age 14 following his 5th battle with cancer. Mo was first introduced to the Orioles fan base when he started calling into a local radio sports show and quickly became a regular caller. His enthusiasm, his laughter, his courage won the hearts of players and fans alike. He built a special bond with them all, especially outfielder Trey Mancini, who is currently in his own battle with cancer. Hours before Mo's death, the Orioles honored him by naming him the 10th man and inducting him into their Hall of Fame. Only the second fan who received that honor on the day of his death. They hung a jersey in his honor. Guys, a sad and heartwarming story. You can see there how much he meant to the players from their tweets. That's the jersey that they hung up on the day that he died, guys. It's a sad and heartwarming story, but I think it's safe to say that he will live on, his memory will live on, and he will never be forgotten.
Kelly, thank you very much. Yeah, it's evident that the Orioles doing a fantastic job right there. What baseball players can do to inspire, and how often, Holly, is it sometimes fans or outside influences that inspire the players just as much?
Well, and we all have a role to play. Adam Jones, he's been a spectacular voice here in Baltimore. You see him there. I mean, so many of these guys, I know we showed you some film a little bit earlier, Manny Machado involved as well, but embracing him warmly and certainly welcoming him into the family, you realize what a privilege it is to play this game and what a responsibility you have as a player, as a role model.
sometimes as an older brother, sometimes as a friend. But a lot of these guys, they do get it. And that's a great example right there of some of the things we see in baseball. I know the Marlins do certainly their part, and really have been over the last couple of years of being very, very active in the community.
That's right. And we will talk with part of that Marlins community. The president of baseball operations, Michael Hill, set to join us in the third inning. This is Magneuris Sierra, a couple down here in inning number 2. Ball outside from Wojciechowski. There's Sterling Sharp out in the Marlins bullpen. So you figure Josh Smith is done after the 2 innings of work. That one to first, and the inning is over. Top 3, we'll talk with Michael Hill. On the way, a bullpen game here in the nightcap of the doubleheader for the Marlins. They get 2 good innings from Josh A. Smith, able to wiggle out of some trouble in the second. They hand the ball over to Sterling Sharp, who is set to make his major league debut, a Rule 5 pick from Washington in 2019. So those are the numbers from spring training, and welcome to the big leagues. Welcome to the broadcast, President of Baseball Operations, Michael Hill. Hey, Michael, how was your week off as you spanned the globe and were able to get off the grid and just kind of unplug and relax? How'd everything go?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a week off from games. That is definitely the case, but it was quite a harrowing week for everyone and at a travel party in Philadelphia.
Well, it is good to hear that that the players that have been dealing with the outbreak that was in that clubhouse are either asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic. Their health, of course, is first and foremost. And what that meant for you and your staff was a lot of juggling, and it was continual juggling throughout the week. And I know that every day was kind of different than the last and the day that followed. How did it all go for you?
Well, it was just a lot of work by our professional scouting department, our analytics department. We were scouring the marketplace to make sure that we could put our club back together, and that was a credit to everyone in baseball operations because it was a group effort. But it was one of those things where you have plan A, you have plan B. But you never exactly have that plan when you need to replace 18 players.
Michael, it's Holly here. You can't script this, my friend. I mean, what we've seen here in Baltimore, I mean, the boys haven't been practicing. They've been quarantined. They've been locked down. They've been shut in. This isn't spring training. This isn't extra swings in the cage. This isn't just a couple of days off. This is, guys, you're not really allowed to do anything. Just kind of keep yourself as loose and as ready as you possibly can. And, oh, by the way, you're going to play a big league ball game and then a doubleheader, and you're going to jump right back into the schedule. And here we are talking about a 4-1 team. I mean, you have just got to be absolutely thrilled with what you've seen so far.
Well, it's a credit to the guys in that clubhouse, both the guys who are in Miami recovering and the replacements that we brought up. There's no one surprised. I mean, the nation at large might be surprised by what's going on with this Marlins group, but in talking with our guys every day, they're doing exactly what they expected to do. We went into spring training 1.0 and we won games in spring training 1.0. That was not by accident. That was a group of talented, players coming together as one, and I think that's how you get through adversity. You unite, you come together as a team, as an organization, and that's how you overcome adversity. And these guys are a living, walking testament to that. And they're not surprised at all at what's happening on the field because that's the expectation.
And health-wise, everyone is progressing and starting to feel a little bit better. Is that right?
It is, and I know. I think you guys got a shot of them during Game 1. They're all in the extra bullpen,
yes,
or the extra dugout down there. They're in Miami quarantine, but they're with us every pitch, every inning. And I think you guys saw Miggy Rowe yesterday as he was live tweeting during our game. Nice play there by Eddie Alvarez to give Sterling Sharp a clean first inning in his Major League debut. Outstanding.
That's good. That's good. Eddie and Andy, the connection. The second time we've seen it already. More with Michael Hill when we come back. Welcome back. Marlins with a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the third inning. The home team here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, where earlier this afternoon, the president of baseball operations, Michael Hill, was organizing the roster in perhaps a different way than he had ever organized it before by putting cardboard cutouts in certain spots in the extended bullpen. Again, that's what we were talking about before. I guess trying to lighten the mood of what's been a stressful, a trying week in some ways. And I think the other thing that needs to be pointed out here too, Michael, is, and we've talked about this these last couple of days, it's not a typical ankle injury or hamstring injury or this or that. There is no certainty as to when these players will be healthy and test negative enough to get back on the field. So you, yes, have cobbled together a roster for the time being, but there will also be many questions moving forward once you have to trim things down as Jonathan VR pops out for out number 1.
That will be the challenge. Obviously we're fighting an invisible opponent with the virus, but the reason why we wanted the cutouts of our guys down in the extended dugout was this is a group effort, and we want those guys to know that they may not be with us in body, but they're definitely with us in spirit and as Marlins, and we wish them all a speedy and healthy recovery. And for the guys who replace them, they know what they need to do, and it's a next man up mentality, and it's we're gonna keep pushing this thing forward and make sure that when those guys do come back that we're still winning ball games and we're still putting ourselves in a position to compete for a playoff spot.
Michael, you've talked about stepping up, all in, everybody in the middle here, group effort. Sometimes it's the guys that you have. I guess what I'm thinking about here is Pablo Lopez in his start last night, and I know that had to bring a huge smile to your face. And you talk about guys stepping up. I mean, Paul and I back here in Miami, you look at the rotation, and okay, Pablo's your guy.
No question, and even before the season started, we talked about just the growth of our young players and how the incremental improvements that they make, the incremental improvements that they make will be the ones that allow us as an organization to take that step forward. So you look at Pablo and what he's done with his growth and his development, and I think no one was surprised with what we're seeing, what we saw last night, because that's what we expect of these young guys. They continue to get better. They take the knowledge and experience that they've garnered here at the Major League level, and they continue to build on that.
The young guys and the veterans, too. Jesus Aguilar, who's on deck, Corey Dickerson, who's in the box right now. Those two guys have had some professional at-bats and have certainly come up with their fair share of big hits as well. How pleased have you been with the new acquisitions?
Oh, definitely. That was the major goal this offseason, was to improve our offense and adding Corey and adding Jesus and Matt Joyce, who's back with us now, and Jonathan Villar and Francisco Cervelli. You've got veterans that take the pressure off of Brian Anderson, off of Jorge Alfaro when he gets back to us, off of Miggy Rowe, and it just lengthens the lineup. And I think that's when you look at the ways that we've won the 4 games to this point, you see we've done it in different manners. There's been home runs, there's been stringing hits together, and that's how you have sustainable winning, and that's what we're enjoying right now.
Well, we're going to let you go. I know you probably need to take a deep breath and enjoy as much fresh air as you possibly can. So we'll let you go. But a terrific job putting together this roster with yourself, your staff in what was a really rough week. Please send our best to the guys who are recovering. A speedy recovery for them, Michael. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Be well.
Michael.
All right. A strikeout of Dickerson. And we move along in Baltimore 2-0.
Esta transmisión de los Marlins está disponible en español por León Medical Centers. Excelencia médica.
Back in Baltimore, Marlins have a 2-0 lead as we go to the top of the 4th inning. Second game of a doubleheader, which of course is only 7 innings now. That's a rule that's been implemented the last couple of weeks. Marlins took the opener of the series yesterday 4-0. Took the opener this afternoon 1-0 and lead this one 2-0. It's a trend I like seeing. It's been fun so far. Sterling Sharp out for his second inning of work. He'll face Jose Iglesias, Renato Nunez, and Pedro Severino. That is ripped down the left field line and heading toward the corner. And with that quad injury for Iglesias, he's able to take it easy into second with a leadoff double. Time for our Fox Sports Florida Youth Player of the Game. Joshua Lago, an outfielder, a catcher, a pitcher, does it all for the Weston Rattlers, the 14U team. Marlins.com/youth player to get your youngster involved. Tell you what, Holly, that Iglesias fella has been a doubles machine. Another 2-base hit for him. And now it is Renato Nunez.
I told you, when you're as hot as Iglesias, you'll play on one leg.
Perfectly placed, didn't have to hustle into second.
Yeah, listen. You get going like he's been swinging the bat, you don't want to miss a game for anything. And that's how it's been going for Iglesias. He's been their hottest hitter. I mean, we saw him last year with the Reds, and not known for the bat so much. He's turned it up a notch here later in life, last couple of years.
His 6th double has him at second base. 0-1 the count to Nunez, who singled his first time up.
Well, the Orioles, they got the leadoff man on in the second. They were unable to score. I mean, it's been shut down. I mean, they've had a little bit more life offensively here in this game, but up until this moment, it has just been shutdown innings for the Marlins.
And a lot of that is what to this point in this inning did not happen. Was Iglesias, the leadoff hitter, has really been off base for what, all but 1 or 2 innings.
Well,
that's
kind of what I was getting at. And you see a little quick snap throw back to second base, trying to get Iglesias, but he wasn't going too far. You know, in the last couple of innings, the Orioles offense getting that leadoff guy on. To be expected at some point. I mean, you're not going to shut them out forever, but I guess my point is that you're seeing some life now with the Orioles offense.
Ball and 2 strikes on Nunez. Here it comes from Sharp, just a little bit low, 2-2.
You know, good action on the sinker. You see it from Sharp. He's got a good 2-seamer. Works down. The Iglesias double came on the breaking ball.
Brian Moran, who again was added over the course of this last week, was up with the Marlins last year, made his major league debut. That ball in the dirt, and it is full, 3-2. Again, our thanks to President of Baseball Operations Michael Hill to take a little time out and get us up to speed on how he and his staff and Don Mattingly have had to work their way through what was a really rough week, health certainly wise, but also roster wise. Call in the field, there was a foul tip.
Well, I heard the double hit. It was all about a check swing, a dropped ball, a little bit of everything. But let's be honest, I think it was a foul tip.
I don't know. But the next time an umpire asks my opinion will be the first time. So,
well,
let's keep playing.
Last time they asked us about a foul tip in game 1, we were wrong.
3-2 from Sharp. Cold strike 3, top of the zone. 1 away.
The Marlins Youth Academy, presented by Nike, is an interactive online camp for kids that they can participate in from the comfort of home. Sessions will feature a mix of sports skill, training, STEM, art, and team building. To register and for more information, go to marlins.com/camp.
First big league strikeout for Sterling Sharp. And there are one out. And a runner on second for Pedro Severino, who grounds back to Sharp. The underhand flip to first. And that will also keep Iglesias not wanting to test the injured leg. So 2 outs. Last of 4 comes your way tomorrow. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson, Gabby Sanchez get you ready for the series finale from Baltimore. The Marlins Live pregame show is presented by Honda. On the air at 7 with a first pitch a little after 7:30, and that one's a 9-inning game, just so we all know. Pitching change in Baltimore. Back after this. Proud supporters of Miami Marlins baseball in a safe and healthy community. By the Florida Lottery. Visit playersguide.flalottery.com for tips and information about responsible gaming. By AutoNation. AutoNation's got the cars and trucks America wants. Shop AutoNation.com. By Estrella Insurance. Lower than what you're paying now for car insurance. And by your local Honda dealer. So Brian Moran into the ball game. We knew it was going to be a bullpen game for the Marlins. This is their 3rd pitcher already, and of course last year made his major league debut with the Marlins, a moment he would never have forgotten anyway, if not for the fact that he's facing his brother Colin, a former Marlins draft pick, and that's his first big league strikeout. Isn't that something?
Yeah, how'd the winner go between those two? That's all I got. Great pitch. Good little slider right there. Lefty, lefty. But again, you know, you put that up and you think, boy, this winter was a little too long with the delays and everything, constantly being reminded.
Yeah, you figured that video would have been in black and white or something. It feels that long ago.
All right.
Well, here he is. Claimed off waivers from Toronto a few days ago. And now pitching. The great story continues. Right now he's pitching in Baltimore, where his uncle B.J. Surhoff played a lot of his big league career. An all-star, 19-year major league veteran.
Well, Moran, 4-seam fastball, sinker. Got a good slider. You saw the slider in striking out his brother. Let's give me another look. This is what, if you're a lefty, you got to deal with, and it's in odd delivery. It's not your normal release point. It kind of gets down. From where he comes set, it's probably just above his waist, that release point, because he stays so low and hunched over.
That one finds the outside corner, 0-2. So this was the spot for DJ Stewart, who is a lefty, but instead the Baltimore Orioles go to Austin Hayes to pinch hit. Give them the platoon advantage in this situation. 0-2, though. It doesn't really work for them now, does it? Moran comes in, gets the strikeout, middle of the 4th. Miami Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. A look inside Marlins Park as the Marlins play their first home game of 2020, albeit on the road in Baltimore, because that's the kind of year it's been They will not be home until August 14th, however, actually play a game here at Marlins Park where Todd Hollandsworth and I are stationed and will be throughout this year.
Paul, it doesn't feel like a home game to me.
No?
Just me and you here.
It is. And our wonderful TV crew.
Team's not, well, the TV crew.
Right,
I mean, they're always here. They're here 24/7, 365. They're always here. You just assume that. But, you know, you and I are here, you know, we're calling this game, and well, the team's not here yet.
No, they're not. This one off of first. Nunez has the room to make the play, and Aguilar is retired. But yeah, we are here in our socially distant broadcast booth. This is the demo den for those that the friends of the program who've watched us through the years. We're in the demo den, just beyond this wall.
They took my playground away.
That's right. I know.
They took it away from me.
So now he just runs around the parking garage before and after the game.
That's all you can do.
Got to get your work in at this point. But it's been a fun few days in Baltimore after what was a really crazy week in Philadelphia. Marlins have really shown no rust.
Paul, I mean, trying to explain this, I had a hard time trying to ask Michael Hill the question because it is very difficult to really get at. You have a million reasons why this shouldn't be going the way that it's going. And it's going, not only is it going your way, it's going your way rather convincingly. And that is just a testament to preparation and doing everything you can. And you know, really just your mindset going into this. And I mean that as a group. I mean, whether it's Brian Anderson or the group as a whole, they do seem to be very carefree and enjoying baseball and enjoying the game itself. So maybe, Paul, just maybe it's just the simple answer. Fresh air and green grass is all you need to get out there and just bring a smile back to your face and get excited to play the game that we all love talking about.
Right.
Because everybody else has been playing. But the Marlins look like they got a little more pop in their step. They're a little bit more excited. I mean, I knew coming into the series who the hot team was. It wasn't the Marlins.
No.
I mean, it was because they'd been shut down, but the Orioles had been baseball's hottest team.
Right. They had just swept the Rays. And a strikeout there of Brian Anderson. So again, when the Marlins are on the road, we are here. This is our setup. This is what we get from the good folks over at Masson. We get this kind of setup. That's just stationary. That's the field. Those are our eyes in the ballpark where the shifts are and everything else, some away bullpens and whatnot. And then we've got our notes. We're 6 or 8 feet apart here. We've got our program monitor, which is basically what you folks at home see. And it's taken some getting used to. It's been a fun little challenge. Hopefully, fortunately, we've gotten a lot of compliments that it sounds like we're at the ballpark.
Well, then we're doing our job.
Yeah, we haven't missed too much of a step, and now it's just going to take a little getting used to when there's actual human beings playing baseball 500 feet in front of our eyes.
Well, right, and getting familiar with the roster because it's ever changing.
Now this is Matt Joyce, 0-2 from Wojciechowski. That one misses low.
Well, Wojciechowski has settled in after a rough first inning. He's made some pitches. He's actually looked pretty good. Good movement to the glove side. And he'll go there with the slider. And of course, the fastball as well. So what I'm talking about, one of his strengths is getting in on lefties. And we actually saw a strikeout of Dickerson a little bit earlier this evening. The ability to throw the two-seam fastball in there. That's where his best control is. In on lefties, away to righties. And he's kind of found his lane here in the last couple of innings. Right there.
Two first-inning runs for the Marlins. A sac fly for Jesus Aguilar, an RBI single for Brian Anderson. Joyce grounds one wide at first. Mentioned this earlier today with Joyce being added to the roster. Got a pinch hit appearance in last night's ball game. He had been out, admitted today, and again, it's up to the players to basically announce whether or not they have suffered from or are suffering from COVID. So he announced that today, that's why he had been out, and said that he really only had 2 live at-bats to get ready for this. So that's one of the reasons why he had the pinch hit appearance last night. Donnie wanted to give him some look at some live pitching. And now Joyce playing in both games of the doubleheader. In the air out towards center field. That is Hayes to make the play. 2-0 after 4.
The MLB app is the only place to get all your baseball action, in-game video highlights, breaking news, player updates, stats, leaderboards, standings, game day, live pitching, and live pitch by pitch, all and much more. Download MLB app today, the official app for live baseball.
Top 5 of a 7-inning doubleheader. Marlins have a 2-0 lead. Brian Moran, who got the last out of the 4th, is back out to begin the 5th. And again, what that means is that he will now, because he's coming out for another inning, will have to face 2 more batters. So he did finish the inning with that 3-batter rule. You can finish an inning and not meet that 3-batter requirement. But if you come out for a second inning of work, you need to face 2 more batters. And I should just go back and clarify that something I said in the first game when there was Nick Vincent came in, threw 1 pitch, got a double play. He could have left after that inning, but Don Mattingly went back to him. So I told, I guess, a half truth. Once he comes back out, even though he recorded 2 outs, he needed to face 3 spots in the batting order.
Once he came back out again.
Once he came back out, he needed to face 2 more spots in the order. So it's a 3-batter minimum, not a 3-out minimum. So there you have it. Justin Schaefer is up and throwing now for the Marlins. And a 4-pitch walk to Pat Valaika to begin the 5th. We check in with Kelly Sacco.
Tomorrow, before the Marlins Live pregame show, is the premiere of Marlins Clubhouse. Mike Coase, for our very first episode, is Marlins utility man John Birdie. We went to hang out with some Panthers players prior to the shutdown. This was in early February. John Birdie has a love for the game of hockey, so we put our skills to the test. You know, I had to challenge him to a shootout. We will see who takes the gold. So, Paulie, putting you on the spot. Who do you think wins this one?
Well,
I swear I won't hold it against you.
You're the only one that we're talking to, so it'd be wrong not to say you won. Am I right?
That is a good answer. It's a very good answer.
It's a good answer, but
it's
is
a
it
good
the
answer.
right answer?
Is it the right one? I don't know.
We don't know.
We'll have to tune in.
Have to find out.
We'll have to find out tomorrow, 6:30.
All right, excellent. The Panthers, by the way, a 3-2 winner over the Islanders to stay alive in their qualifying round matchup. So congrats to the Panthers. This is Kelly's shot.
Go!
And John Birdie. I mean, Kel, a little bit more giddy up on his.
I'm going to go with Birdie.
All right, guys, listen. What I wanted to make sure is I didn't want to show him up.
Oh,
okay?
right. Yeah, no, of course.
Couldn't show him up, okay? With these guns, let's be real.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Paul.
I was just warming up, too.
Right. You're not wearing skates. You don't want to lose your balance. I got you.
Do you know how many 10-foot putts go in when you putt the ball 9 feet?
Very funny.
I'm just saying.
It's a downhill lie, a little bit of curvature.
I'm betting on Birdie.
Betting on Birdie. We've got a couple 2 contests in that episode as well. We've got another one where we stick our hands in a box and we don't know what's in it, and we have to guess by feeling it. That was gross.
Yeah, we're going to check that out. Marlins Clubhouse tomorrow at 6:30. Kelly, thank you very much. Ball and 2 strikes to Andrew Velasquez, and he goes down swinging for the strikeout. 1 down here in the 5th.
Now goes to the breaking ball. 69 miles an hour, plenty of time for the hitter to gauge, and that's just what it comes down to, Paul. I've told you this a million times. You know, when you're throwing 99 miles an hour, you blink your eye and you've decided, and you got to stay with it. When you're throwing 69 miles an hour, as a hitter, a lot of times you'll convince yourself of what you need to do or what you can do to a particular pitch. And I think in that instance right there, when you're watching Velasquez, he thinks he can go down and get that one, you know, drive it into left, and ball never gets there. You're way out in front. 69 miles an hour. You know, knuckleballers, they kind of hang out in the 65 mile an hour range.
Right. Cedric Mullins 0 for 1. Takes a pitch outside. Mullins started the day in center field. He has since moved over to left with a swap in the middle of the lineup for the Orioles. And Austin Hayes now in the ball game. It is Valleca leading away from first. Hanser Alberto waiting on deck. Here's a strike at the bottom of the zone, 3-1. And Moran gets right back into the count, 3-2. College baseball at UNC Chapel Hill. And in fact, Moran played in the Atlantic League of Independent Baseball in the 2016 season, then signed with the Braves organization and went back to play with the Bridgeport Bluefish in 2017. Not far from home, where he was born in Port Chester, New York, just outside of Greenwich, right about halfway between Greenwich and Manhattan. He gets the strikeout. They're 2 away. Time for Geico's This Day in History. Go back to 1901. Orioles rookie first baseman Jimmy Hart punched the umpire, John Haskell, right in the face. Only got a 10-game suspension, and then he quit. He goes 4 for 4 because the team didn't want to pay
They tried to stiff him.
that exorbitant $25 fine.
Tell you, somebody else probably got punched in the face too.
I think that's a good spot to leave it right now. I'm gonna step aside. Justin Schaefer into the ball game. Back to the bullpen as we take a look at our Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. So coming into this season, the Marlins and the Angels with the toughest records based on last year's win percentage, but not far behind the Baltimore Orioles. Of course, the Marlins and the Orioles are facing the opposite Easts, right? So there's the Nationals and the Phillies and the Mets, the Braves, the Yankees, the Rays. I mean, just pitching up and down.
And the interesting about the board we showed you, minus the Angels, the Rockies playing good baseball too out west. The last I looked at them yesterday, they were atop the division, and that's no joke. That division includes the Dodgers, obviously. Of course, the Orioles, as I've mentioned many times, playing good baseball, and of course, our Marlins have been great.
Yes, they have. They go back to the bullpen and essentially back to the alternate site. They get Justin Schaefer out of the pen. These are his career numbers in 48 innings pitched. You saw that he was from Lake Wales, Florida, about an hour east of Tampa, hour or so south of Orlando. And his first pitch is inside to Hanser Alberto. Once again, a reminder that this is a 7-inning doubleheader. So while it says the 5th, it certainly feels a little later in the ball game.
Because it is.
And it is. And the Marlins also the home team, despite the gray pants. They are the home team. So again, it could be an even shorter night should the score hold. But work still to be done with a formidable top of the order here, albeit with 2 outs for the O's.
Now Schaefer, good career numbers against the Baltimore Orioles, 3.38 ERA, 8 innings of work, 9 punch outs. Pitched well for the Blue Jays last year, 3.86 ERA. Did have a save. I think it's interesting, Don Mattingly. I mean, you know, some of the names that have been called upon coming out of the bullpen, success against the Orioles, guys who have pitched at this park before. It hasn't really just been committing to one direction. It's kind of getting guys involved who, you know, he's done a nice job of balancing what their resumes tell you they are and who they are with what might be expected of them.
Two balls, two strikes, two outs upstairs, and Alberto thankfully able to limbo out of the way of that one.
Now, two-seam fastball. A lot of times you'll see this if the arm or the elbow drops just a bit. It doesn't sink, it sails, and this one did just that at 90 miles an hour. It sails to the inside part of the plate. If you've got kind of any kind of momentum into home, which Alberto has.
Tell you what, bullpen just keeps on keeping on. We go to the bottom of the fifth, looking good.
Alvarez with Miami Marlins. Special thank you to all the first responders and nurses out there for everything that you've done. I know for a fact that everyone's greatly appreciative of all your hard work. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Sterling Sharp for the Marlins. I just want to say thank you to the first responders and nurses.
Hello, I'm Francisco Cervelli. I just want to say thank you to the nurses for everything you guys do. Thank you very much.
We echo those same sentiments as we welcome you back for the bottom of the fifth. Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth, back with you here at Marlins Park as the Marlins play their first home game, quote unquote, at Camden Yards. They play on in this 4-game series, essentially makeup games from last week. The only time that they could squeeze in the O's, so a lot of jumbling in the major league schedule. The Phillies and Yankees playing a doubleheader today too. And Ryan Lavarnway deposits one into left field, a base hit to start the fifth. Yeah, if you thought the Marlins had it a little weird, the Phillies were off for just about as long. They played Monday, whereas the Marlins were off, but they were, you know, cooped up in quarantine, going through their own tests to make sure that they could get cleared. Then schedule gets changed. They're supposed to play the Yankees, but Hurricane Isaias rolls through the Northeast. They move the game from Tuesday to Monday, play that game at Yankee Stadium, and then they're playing 3 games in Philly and doing the same thing here where the Yankees are a home team on the road. I don't know. Those that made the schedule and who are adjusting the schedule, kudos. Lavarnway, the runner on at first. Eddie Alvarez looking for his first big league hit. Made his major league debut in game 1 of this doubleheader earlier this afternoon. Straightened up on the pitch, up and in, 1-1. We talked earlier about Eddie Alvarez and the terrific story that and the journey that he has taken, the former Olympian, having traveled the globe for some speed skating, playing or rather qualifying for the 2014 Olympics in Sochi, taking home a silver medal. And also traveling the globe is Asher Wojciechowski. Talked about all the major league teams that he's played for. He's also lived in Florida, Michigan, the Dominican Republic, Romania, played a little league tournament in Poland. Eddie Alvarez, foul.
Almost got to see a bunch of left turns right there.
That's right.
He should know his way around the bases.
And I would think around some of the bases, maybe even puts the hands down.
I was thinking about this because Lavarnway's over at first. Now, I'm not going to knock Lavarnway because I don't know his speed all that well, but and you see him with his skates on, so he knows how to cut corners and scoot. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But the funny thing about baseball is you're only as fast as the guy in front of you.
That's right. In a previous life, he was able to pass someone if need be, but not now. Here, swing and a miss. That's 4 strikeouts for Wojciechowski.
Marlins 50-50 raffle presented by Mikasuki is now online. Get in on the action now. This week's raffle ends next Monday at 9:30 p.m. Funds raised will benefit the Miami Marlins Foundation programs, and it's open to Florida residents over 18. To purchase for official rules, go to marlins.com/raffle.
Magneri's Sierra swings, sends one to center. Hayes is there for out number 2. Tanner Scott for the Orioles up in their bullpen. No action in the Marlins bullpen, so one would think that Justin Schaefer would come back out for the 6th. Brandon Kinsler pitched last night, and he earned the save in the first game of the doubleheader. Really didn't throw that many pitches, but again, up and down quite a bit. 11 pitches this afternoon, 10 pitches last night. But they also have Brad Boxberger down there. George Guzman might be someone perhaps called upon. But as I have said in the past, I will say it again. I'll let Don Mattingly manage the club. 0-1 to Jonathan Villar, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Villar walked and scored in the first. That is the only walk that Wojciechowski has given up today, but that was part of that 2-run first inning. A walk, a double, ultimately a sac fly, and a single to score those runs. Popped up off third. And near that extended Marlins dugout, out of play, 2-2. Lavarnway with the leadoff single away from first as a 2-2 pitch comes home to Villar, and it's in off the edge, and now Lavarnway will get a head start off the first base bag. Payoff pitch coming, and Villar lines a base hit into right center field. Lavarnway on his way to third. He will get there standing, and the Marlins have him on the corners with 2 outs.
Well, a good swing from Villar on a slider. That ball doesn't get in as far as Wojciechowski wanted it. Lavarnway hustling around to third base in motion. Full count and 2 outs. Sets the table for one of the hotter Marlins hitters in this series, John Birdie. He's had good at bats, good swings. Always looking for insurance. Remember, Marlins fans, we're kind of treating this like the bottom of the 7th inning, so you're looking for more, right? We're only playing 7-inning ball games. So this is a big, big spot. I think with Buczkowski on the mound. Now his pitch count is reasonable. No reason to overreact to 50-plus pitches, but at the same time, you're probably your last look at him, and this is where you really want to put together some of your best at bats if you can get them.
VR going, and he goes on a breaking ball, and he's able to get into scoring position. Well, that's a big 90 feet, because now if Birdie can come through with the speed of VR and 2 outs, in all likelihood would score easily and perhaps double the lead.
Well, a big lead, a big jump, and a breaking ball. Jonathan VR is going to be safe just about every time, not even close at second base. He had a good idea of what he wanted to do right there, and even with 2 outs, not worried about the strong arm of Severino.
That foul, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, that changes things just a little bit, especially if you're going to go after, as I said, John Birdie. He comes through with a base hit right here. Could score 2. That's what I like. I like that kind of pressure. 2 is better than 1. There you go. Good speed at second. The Barnway about 82 feet from home.
Ground ball left side. Picked deep in the hole, and the Orioles defense bails him out. 2-0 after 5. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is presented by Leon Medical Center, proud sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball and a safe and healthy community. Top of the 6th coming up. It really feels more like the 8th. Now playing 7-inning doubleheaders. Marlins picking up a win last night in the opener of this 4-game series, 4-0. A 1-0 win in 7 innings earlier this afternoon, and now leading 2-0 in the 6th. There's a base hit by Anthony Santander over the third baseman and into left field. So a leadoff single. Been a little bit more of that in this game. That leadoff man on. Marlins really, their pitching staff been in control the first couple of games, getting that first out, settling things down.
Well, Paul, this is where you start to get nervous, right? It's the last 3 innings in a row they've had the leadoff guy on, and 4 of the last 5. Now they've been able to make pitches and get outs to follow that up, but you are now going through the middle of their lineup, which you're hoping is the last time through the middle of their lineup.
Well, Iglesias pops this one up off of first. Anderson near the dugout. Oh! He makes the catch. Juggles it, but puts it away. His first major league game at first base. And yeah, it's that simple. He's got it.
Calm, cool, and collected. Yeah, you don't have to lose your cool. Yeah, hits him in the heel of the glove, and the ball bounces straight up and then secures it. Did a nice job by getting himself. That's why you want to get to your spot where you believe the ball is going to come down early. If that does happen, it gives you a chance to kind of react. You're not like overselling out into the into the dugout or whatever. He got there and he popped it out of his glove, but he's under control and he's right there. It's just really kind of catching a second pop-up.
Well, that was big out to get Iglesias, who already had his 6th double of the year in his last AB. So now 1 on 1 out. Renato Nunez spins out of the way, and it's a ball and no strikes. Nunez a single in the 2nd, a strikeout in the 4th.
Well, and our conversation that we literally just had 30 seconds ago about the Orioles getting the leadoff man on much better here in game 2. In every instance, as I said, 4 out of the 5 last innings, they've got the leadoff guy on. But the Marlins have recorded an out in the following batter immediately in all instances. So that's part of this. Again, it gets back to how aggressive this Orioles team has been. When it's been working, it was kind of like the 5-3 start. But when it's not, this is where you get a little frustrated maybe as a manager. your young guys are stepping into the box and they're just swinging and they're swinging. I mean, even Iglesias, the hot hand, jumps in there after a line drive base hit to left. We've barely said 2 words about them getting the leadoff guy on, and he's swinging at the first pitch below the zone.
Action in both bullpens for the Marlins. You saw Stephen Tarpley up. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of times I think some people will say, well, that was a good at bat because it was 8, 9, 10 pitches. But sometimes a good at bat is the result, is moving the runner over, is a productive out.
Well, like in that instance right there, and I'm not picking on Iglesias, he's one of their hottest hitters, but you're saying to yourself, wow, what do you're swinging at right out of the gate.
And then Nunez chases that one for out number 2. We check in with Kelly Sacco.
Well, the Marlins have been playing great baseball, and a former Marlin has noticed. He's been very active on Twitter. That's 2003 World Series champion Dontrell Willis. Check out this tweet in reaction to Eliezer Hernandez's slider. Last night, too, he was also impressed by that bomb that Jesus Aguilar dropped. It's great to see the former Marlin showing support from afar. And current Marlin, Miguel Rojas, as well. Check out this one, guys. Shower, check. Meds, check. Dinner, check. W in Game 1, check. Let's get another W and win this series. Now, of course, we checked in with Miggy yesterday as well. Got his earlier today, it feels like yesterday in Game 1, and got his opinion on the Shadows. He's been very active, and of course we want to send out good vibes to Miggy and all the guys back in Miami.
Absolutely, Kelly. We're with you there. Head trainer Gene Basham is out to, not sure if it's a blister, looks like maybe a fingernail issue for Justin Schaefer.
It might be kind of digging into the skin just a bit,
right,
creating an irritation, and just maybe by trimming that nail a little bit, able to relieve the pressure. What do I know?
You're a finely manicured gentleman.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about.
Listen, you got to go to the pros to get that done.
Well, he gets the strikeout of Nunez, and now after the leadoff single, a pop-up, a strikeout, easing the tension just a bit here in the 6th, but still not out of the woods as Pedro Severino will step to the plate.
Well, for Schaefer, make a few pitches here on the corners and get through this 6th.
Breaking ball just missed. Nothing. 1-0, I should say, to Severino, who has flown out and grounded out thus far. Schaefer, originally an 8th round pick by the Blue Jays in 2014 out of the University of Florida, selected off waivers from Cincinnati in July by the Marlins. Ball and 2 strikes.
That's a dandy slider on the outside edge.
Pitcher and a position player while he was a Gator.
Let's go with that slider again.
Blocked by Lavarnway and keeps the runner at first. 2-2. Way outside. And now Santander over at first will get a head start. Payoff pitch on the way. Runners on first and second with 2 outs, as that'll bring up Austin Hayes, and it may also bring out Don Mattingly. It will. And Tarpley warming, and I think that's who it's going to be. 2 on, 2 out in the 6th, and it feels like the 8th. Yeah, welcome back, and we like what we've seen so far, as the Marlins pitching staff has not given up a run yet in this series. That run, however, is in peril right now. 2 on, 2 out, as again they'll hand the ball off to another reliever. This time it's Stephen Tarpley. We knew coming into game 2 of this doubleheader that it was going to be a bullpen game. It has been just that. 2 innings from Josh A. Smith, an inning and 2/3 from Sterling Sharp, an inning from Brian Moran, Justin Schaefer, an inning, and now Stephen Tarpley inheriting a couple of runners in a 2-run game.
Well, the Marlins like this young man. He's got a good arm. 92-94 on the fastball. 4-seamer. Has a sinker as well. Good slider. Throws it about 41% of the time. We'll see. It's about 82 miles an hour, so it's not a hard, 87, 88. It's got a little more sweeping action. Big spot here for Tarpley.
Facing Austin Hayes, the Orioles center fielder. Swings at the first pitch and taps it foul. Tarpley, a 3rd-round pick of the Baltimore Orioles in 2013 out of Scottsdale Community College, was acquired via trade from the Yankees in January of 2020. Ball at 2 strikes on Austin Hayes, who came in and struck out back in the 4th. Two and 2. The distribution of balls in play on the ground off the bat of Austin Hayes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here it comes. Off a couple of gloves, and it trickles into left field. Santander will score. The trail runner Pedro Severino moves up to second base. Well, that I think, and I'm judging from 800 miles away, I think that got both Eddie Alvarez and Jonathan Villar.
It certainly did. Had topspin, and that pitch middle in. He got a little bit of leather on it, and I think it just kind of messed up the timing of everything. That high chop, Baltimore chop. There you go.
Fitting.
They had to lean on it to get their first run. There you go. Marlins up 2-1. This is a big spot. An insurance run in the first. I think back to the 2-out RBI. Brian Anderson going the other way. A slow roller as they had an overshift. That was for run number 2, but it's the difference in the ball game right now.
Ball and no strikes to Pat Valaika. Lined out and walked thus far. 2-1 in the 6th inning in a 7-inning doubleheader. Tarpley's 1-0 pitch on the way. It's fouled back, 1-1. Chase that one, and Tarpley now ahead, a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's the slow breaking ball from Tarpley. It's a good pitch, especially out over home plate. Valaika completely fooled. And now down in the count, 2 strikes.
Trying to get out of this 6th with the lead. And just surrendered their first run in the series. Pitching has been terrific. 1-2 coming.
Hey, Steven, come on, baby.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here it comes from Tarpley. In the air right field. And Matt Joyce is there. Marlins get through it, protecting the lead. 2-1. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Leon Medical Centers, proud supporters of Miami Marlins baseball in a safe and healthy community. And by La Lechonera, the original mojo since 1970. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth back with you here at Marlins Park as the Marlins play a home game in Baltimore. It will also be the home team for tomorrow's game, the last of a 4-game series against Tanner Scott and the Baltimore Orioles. Tanner Scott takes over for Asher Wojciechowski, pitching in this his 4th game of the year. He'll face the lefty Corey Dickerson, Jesus Aguilar, and Brian Anderson. Swinging at the first pitch and a roller to second for Hanser Alberto. Now a word from FPL.
FPL bills are down nearly $4 a month. See how at fpl.com/value.
So now it's Jesus Aguilar. Had a sac fly in the 1st inning of this ball game. His 5th RBI to go along with 3 home runs thus far.
He continues to put together good swings. I know that his batting average, here in the early going doesn't say 400 like it feels, but he's put together good swings. Lined out to second base. I think it was last night. I mean, he's had some really good at bats where contact has been solid. Line drives. Of course, the home runs have been there as well.
.28 games last year with the Orioles for Tanner Scott. 4 stints with the big club. An Orioles bullpen that gave up 126 home runs. 126 of the 305, which was a major league record by a staff. Two and two to Aguilar. Fouled at the plate.
Severino's needing a minute behind home plate. Wondering what this little delay is about. We have caught his thigh on the foul tip.
Two-two. Ground ball, and Scott able to stab that one. Well, we've seen some pretty good glove work from Brian Anderson tonight, too. In his first big league start over at first. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Getting over just in front of the Orioles dugout. Over 65 feet to make that play. But Holly got there quick, as you mentioned, to be under control.
Well, and I think that's always the key. Is sometimes you drift over there, you take your sweet time, and you find yourself, the ball hits off your glove, and you don't have time to react. Because he got there in plenty of time, he was under control and able to make amends.
To third, Valleca across the diamond. So we go to the top of the 7th, which is really the top of the 9th. 2-1 our score. Welcome back. Top of the 7th coming up. And in a doubleheader, this is essentially the 9th. That's why our hard-working post, and post-game crew is ready to go. The WB Mason Marlins Live post-game show coming up when this one goes final. We'll hear from Don Mattingly, Brian Anderson doing a lot of different things throughout the day, and we'll also get you set for tomorrow's ball game. We will be on the air tomorrow at 7. First pitch a little after 7:30. Stephen Tarpley staying out there. He will face Andrew Velasquez. And again, just to clarify the whole 3-batter rule, he faced 2 to finish the 6th, so he could have been done. But since he has come back out, he only needs to face 1 more to satisfy that requirement. And there is action in the Marlins bullpen. It's Mike Morin up. 2 balls and no strikes to Velasquez. Fly ball and a strikeout for the Orioles shortstop. Our old buddy Brian Holiday in the on-deck circle. Three and one. Leadoff walk, and the tying run is aboard. And Mel Stottlemyre Jr. out to chat with Tarpley for now. And it will be Brian Holiday who has been announced as the pinch hitter in this spot.
Now, Tarpley has to find the strike zone. He's got good stuff, but consistently that leadoff walk. Again, the Orioles now have another leadoff man on. That's the consistency at which he finds the strike zone. Play back into his hand, but if he continues to kind of just work around the strike zone, these Orioles hitters, remember we talked how aggressive they've been in through 3 games we watched them.
Holiday grounds to short, to second, and on to first. A double play.
Let me tell you something. Mel Stottlemyre Jr. best meeting of the year. Whatever he said, there you go. That's all I got for you, partner.
I think he said, hey, you know what? Just roll a double play ball. You'll be fine.
There might have been a little more tone in there. He did walk the leadoff guy.
Right.
So.
Or maybe there was an or else. Well, whatever he said, it worked. And now the Marlins are an out away from taking the first 3 games of this series and potentially winning their 4th in a row. But it will not be easy with Hunter Alberto at the plate, who grounds 1 wide of 3rd foul.
Well, for Tarpley, the confidence should be back. You get back out there and you're struggling with
finding the strike zone. You make one pitch and you get 2 outs. And you're like, all right, I'm right back in this. Let's do this. Here we go.
The 0-1 is in the air. Right field. Moving over. Making the catch and ending the ball game. It's a Marlins win. 2-1. The pitching great again. They get just enough offense. And they have won 3 straight in the series, 4 in a row overall.
Don't blink. These guys are playing pretty good baseball right now. I'm telling you, they're having some fun. And in a lot of ways, it's unexplainable. I mean, nobody's getting any swings. I mean, don't get me wrong with the pitching. The pitching's been good. I'm just saying they were out of action for